Hey, what's up, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how he can do a little bit better Revenant and really just kind of understanding his abilities and what exactly you can and cannot do with him. If you watched the trailer and you got hyped for him and expected him to be this like solo killing machine, kind of like I did, you're going to be disappointed. He is definitely a lot more team-based than, I guess what his personality would really kind of push you towards. And we're just going to start with the, kind of like the weakest abilities or his basic abilities, and then slide in and finish up with his ultimate. So when you start off, first off, he has the beautiful passive of having a low profile, which means he takes 5% more damage than your typical legend. So you need to make sure to be aware of that and know that while your hitbox is a little smaller, you're going to be taking a little bit more damage. Also, with his Stalker passive, whenever you crouch, you're going to crawl super fast. You're going to like crab walk all over the place. And you're also going to be able to climb whatever terrain you want to. If there is a 4-story building, you can just climb up that bad boy like it's nothing. Those, like that is like a cool little ability there. I like being able to just kind of climb wherever you want. And I think that's pretty nice. Now, as tactical, the silence, you can hold that whenever you go to launch it. As long as you hold the button down, he'll actually hold it, kind of similar to how Bangalore holds her smoke. Otherwise, as soon as you mash your tactical button, it's going to release that and not really kind of show you where the reticle is. It's just going to toss it where it normally would, similar to how you would toss a grenade. So with that, in the silence, it's going to last for about 6 to 8 seconds, and whenever you launch your tactical and whenever it hits, it's going to have a little splash area of about 5 meters wide, and it can actually, if an enemy runs into that, they get affected by your silence for 10 seconds. They could also get hit with it directly and do 10 damage, and again still get hit with it for 10 seconds. Now, the fact that people can run into it and get hit with it allows you to create like choke points in certain stages, and also obviously it's more effective against certain enemies than other enemies, and honestly it's more effective towards players who rely on their tacticals more or rely on their ultimates more than their actual gunplay. And that's really, in my opinion, where this ability shines. It also shines really well if you have a squad. When you're running by yourself, it doesn't hurt, but again, it's no game changer to where if you couldn't, take out multiple enemies before, you're still going to be in the same situation. The only difference now is that they're not going to be able to use their abilities. So it's really useful against like a Gibraltar, a Wraith, maybe even a Lifeline, anyone who really kind of hinges on their ability. Or if you're trying to chase a Octane down, you can silence him, silence Pathfinder. It's pretty useful. I've gotten hit with it a couple of times now, and I normally play Mirage, so it doesn't really help me a lot because I'm normally just out there bamboozling fools. So it doesn't, it's like, meh. Now when I need to run away and you hit me with that and I'm trying to do my ult, it definitely does affect me. So it does have its uses, and I'm not knocking it. I was really expecting like a poison bomb or something like that, and I just feel like it should do some damage over time. The fact that it doesn't sort of makes me sad. Now, sliding on over to his ultimate. With his ultimate, the Death Totem, there are some positives and there are some negatives, and some things that you want to be aware of as a player when you come into this Death Totem. So with your Death Totem, when you launch that, you got about a 30-second to 45-second window to however long the Death Totem actually lasts. During that time, you have to interact with the totem for you yourself to be able to fall under the protection of the totem. If a Revenant on your squad, or you yourself as Revenant, launches the Death Totem, but you don't interact with it, then it doesn't matter. It's just going to sit there. Mind you, everyone can interact with your Death Totem. So an enemy team can literally come up to your Death Totem, activate your Death Totem with you, and have the same benefits that you do. Now, with the Death Totem, it can also be destroyed rather easily. Also, whenever you set your Death Totem, you have to be aware that you want to set it in a careful spot. You don't want to set it way out in the open or somewhere whenever you poof back to it, Whenever you get saved by the totem, you don't have somebody sitting there waiting for you. Now, whenever you use your death totem, whenever you interact with it and become covered by the death totem, you no longer use your shields. It's all your health. So you want to make sure that you go in there with full health and then snap up in the totem. While you are under the totem's protection, you cannot heal. And again, you cannot use your shields. So those are also two things that you want to keep in mind. Whenever you would have get knocked but are under the protection of the totem, you zip back to the totem with 1 HP and your shields. So again, if somebody's sitting there waiting for you, that might hurt you a little. But it is basically an extra health bar that you wouldn't otherwise have. You just want to be careful for that, and you want to be aware of it. You can't just, run in there guns ablazing and expect to win every time. Now, it is very useful as a scouting tool. And it is very useful if, like, you have to go grab someone's banner or something like that, and you got to go back in the storm, and you would have otherwise, you can make it to their banner, but might not make it back. That death totem is super useful in those situations. It's also generally useful. I'm not trying, I'm not knocking it whatsoever. It's super useful. With your totem, you have about 63 meters before you come out of the range of the totem. If you go out of the range of the totem, it breaks the protection that the totem offers you, and you can now use shields. You can now heal. You're gonna have your shields, but again, you're no longer protected by the totem. Again, Revenant works best with a squad, in my opinion, which honestly is a little disappointing. The way that I was expecting him to be. I was expecting him to be a little bit more kind of like a solo guy, but I still think he could definitely be a good addition to your squad. I think he is honestly severely underpowered in comparison to what I was expecting from him, but you can still be very effective with Revenant. I think he'll be getting a buff. I don't think he'll sit where he's at. I think his death totem will get reworked a little bit, and his silence might get reworked a little bit. Honestly, in my opinion, the dude should be completely silent. Like, he should be able to move with complete silence, because as an assassin, the dude sounds like Octane running through there, just zzz, 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 like all over the place. I get, he's a simulacron, but man, like, let the man be silent, and that's coming from a dude who doesn't, who has no intentions of like maining Revenant. Like, he's an assassin, make the boy be quiet. Like, he's still gonna get killed, but overall, I think he's a good addition to the legends, the legend pool, I guess. But, hey, let me know what you think about Revenant down in the comments below. Do you think he's a great legend? Do you think he's a terrible legend? Or do you think he's overhyped? Do you think he was underhyped? Are you having fun with him? Because that's really all that matters. And as always, if you can smash that like button and hit that subscribe so you can stay up to date with all your Apex Legends news. Thank you for watching.